I'm Andrew O'Hare, dōTERRA's Chief Commercial Officer, and with me today are all 7 of dōTERRA's founding executives: Greg Cook, Mark Wolford, Dave Sterling, Emily Wright, Dr. Hill, Rob Young, and Corey Lindley. Thank you so much for being with us here today. And first, a question for everyone. In 30 seconds or fewer, can you tell us your favorite essential oil and why? Corey, let's get started with you.
Sure, you mean other than On Guard soft gels, right? How do you live without those? I think for me, every morning I love to combine Siberian fir and green mandarin and use them with fractionated coconut oil in a shaving product. Can't convince Emily to do a shaving product, but for me, I do my own blend. And it reminds me of what's going on in Russia, what's going on in Brazil, and everywhere around the world. And it's a great way to start the day.
I'll repeat Corey's favorite. I'm an On Guard fan. I use more On Guard in our home than anything else. Lately, though, I've been using spearmint in my water. I love spearmint tubes. Nice. But I love all of the oils, of course. So.
It's hard to pick a favorite.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess I'm a creature of habit because I'm struggling trying to figure out which one is my favorite. So maybe I'll just speak to the cycle that I'm in right now. And one of the oils that I love and I use a great deal of is copaiba. I use that every single day, and I use it in multiples of ways. I'm using it topically, I'm using it internally, and for me, it's made a big difference in my daily routines and how I feel overall.
I can't narrow it down to just one. Can I choose 3?
No.
No?
You have to pick a favorite.
We've all chosen one. You need one oil.
All right, so yarrow, I love what it's doing for my skin, and I love to use it internally, just kind of bring me back to more of a prime state is what I say with yarrow palm. But can't live without my rose, usually over the heart, oil of self-love. But immortelle too.
Oh, she's still gonna do all
right?
3.
You
all
want the
3
anyway.
It's all the restorative oils, and if you're on a desert island and you can't have anything but immortelle, you're set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay, then I don't have to do one either, right? So I was gonna say copaiba, and the soft gels every morning, every night for me. But I have to mention my happy oil though. My happy oil is cheer. I just love cheer.
That's a good one.
It is hard to just choose one oil, and at night I diffuse a few different oils, but there is one oil that I could not live without. Every morning after I exercise, and yes, I do work out in the morning. Well, you can't tell.
We can tell, Mark. Getting in and out of bed doesn't count.
I get in the steamer and I use Breathe. And for someone, especially in these times and getting older, and they say keeping a healthy respiratory system, and I just love Breathe because it really strengthens my respiratory system, helps clear things out.
I think my favorite product that dōTERRA has is the Rose hand lotion. That product alone has funded millions and millions of dollars of charitable efforts and had an impact on the world more than any other healing hands project that we do. It's just really my favorite product.
Great. Well, thank you, Greg. One thing that makes dōTERRA different from everyone else is how we source our oils. Greg, Juanita from North Carolina has a question, and she asks, can you describe what co-impact sourcing is for those unfamiliar with this term, and why co-impact sourcing is so important to dōTERRA?
Thank you, Juanita. Great question. A few years ago, we found ourselves growing much greater than any other company had ever done in the essential oil world. More than half of the countries where dōTERRA does business are actually in developing countries, and many of the growers had been taken advantage of. They were living in not the best circumstances, and we recognized that the most important way for us to contribute back to the world was to benefit directly our growers and our producers of essential oils around the world.
Can I just share one more thought?
Absolutely.
As I'm listening to Greg talk about co-impact sourcing and how strategic that was for us as a company, there's another element to that. And I think it's something that drives in each one of us maybe on a more personal level, and that is that when you think about those things coming together, it really is a good demonstration of the culture of dōTERRA, who we are at our very core, that it's not just about the end goal in mind, it's the process that we get there and the good that we bring about in the process. And that's what we see everybody doing in dōTERRA as a whole. One of the things that's been really important to us in dōTERRA, especially as we've expanded the essential oils beyond just this personal use, and everyone knows that we have this big foray into the sciences and all that we're doing that way for research, that demands that we have consistency. And the only way to do that is to fine-tune our processes. And so all of that combined has helped us to do not just what Greg mentioned, but to do it exceptionally well. And the quality that we see, the consistency that we see within that, which purity is a main element and component, really drives us to where we are today.
So I have a question for you, Doc. What percentage of essential oils on the market today, what percentage are actually pure? Do we know that?
I think it's kind of hard to tell, but I could give you my best educated guess. One of the things that we've done consistently in dōTERRA, and we're all very familiar with this, we know our competition. We know the marketplace. I think in a large sense we've redeveloped the marketplace to our standard, and that's why we're able to do what we do. But I don't think it's an exaggeration, in all honesty, to say that nearly all essential oils, now exact percentage, what is that, 95, 98%? And I don't know, I'll be really bold, why I think that percentage is so high. And I've said this before, I think we've all said it in one way or another, people don't do what we do.
It's certainly not the least expensive way to do things.
Well, Corey's chuckling. I think he would agree with that statement.
There's a lot cheaper ways to do things than the way dōTERRA does them. In terms of our investment in the growers and working with them every step of the way we go through the distillation process, the way that we are primary and right there, the team that we have that flies around the world,
Our quality labs.
When you add all of that up, no one compares. There's no one, and it's not inexpensive to be able to do it this way. We're committed to it, so we're built around it. We find ways to have efficiencies in other areas, right? So that we can stay focused on bringing these oils, but it's not cheap.
You know, we hear that, obviously we're in the essential oil business, but I hear sometimes that people will say that we're also in the empowerment business.